Hey guys, it's Gus, and Module 26, the newest expansion for Neverwinter, is going to be here Tuesday. And I'm really excited about this module because I think this mod is going to do something that the game hasn't done for quite some time. Ever since Avernus. And what do I mean by that? This mod has nothing to do with Avernus. But Avernus was a great opportunity for new players because what Avernus did is it gave players of all skill and item level the ability to farm massive amounts of astral diamonds doing chain farming in Avernus. And literally anybody could do it. Just go to Avernus and get in your truck and start killing those creatures. And players made 10, 20 plus million AD a day doing it. It was no joke, and people were buying. That people were buying it faster than people could farm it. I was one of the buyers. You know, if you wanted to be in the top 100, I don't think it was possible to farm everything by yourself and still get up there. Maybe it was. It wasn't for me. I had to buy them, and I don't regret it one bit. And the people who were making 10, 20 million AD a day probably don't regret it at all. And ever since then, it's been very hard to make AD in this game. You know, there still are some great AD making ways, like this new trial, Master Zemnid, right? There's a huge problem with this trial. It's not open to everybody. Where is it? This one right here. It's very hard to get in there. Most players have spent tons of time practicing, and players who are hosting want completes. So they're going to invite players who've put in the hours to know the dungeon. And it still can fail. That's how hard this dungeon is. But its drops are great. You know, it drops, what are they called? The Wand of Domination, right? Look how much these bad boys sell for. Wand of Domination. Cheapest one in the auction house is 4.14 million. Well, look at this. I did some runs for a couple hours yesterday, and I got one, two, three of them. I got 12 million AD in a few hours. You know, that's kind of a lot of AD. But again, I've probably did 30 plus runs in a row before that where I didn't get a single wand. So it's RNG, but you keep doing it, you're gonna get those. But the problem is the players who need the AD to build their tunes won't have access to that. And then the next best farm in the game, arguably, is actually running content and running Rise of Tiamat, the master version, which again is very similar to Zemnids, where it's extremely exclusive, right? The drops are very valuable. And if we go to equipment, I'll show you what these are selling for. Ugh, my bad. Uh, by the way, this video is probably going to take a little long. There's a lot to talk about though. So we got these right here. These necklaces are 3.6 million. And then if we look at the artifact, the arcane globe, oh, that's an enhancements. Look at they're 2 million each. This is a very profitable farm too, if you can get groups that can farm it. Uh, but again, this is exclusive. It's closed off to the economy, the majority of player bases. But this mod's going to change everything because not only are they introducing new Mastercraft items, they're introducing amazing Mastercraft items. The ones that I think most endgame players are going to seek out. And most of this will allow you to bypass a lot of the hunts, the dragon hunts. And the dragon hunts were great. There's a huge problem with dragon hunts right now. There's not a lot of people doing them. So it's harder to get your 12 completes a week to get your 80 cap of 80 ridges. And players are struggling with that. And you know, I can only do a few runs here and there to help them out because I have a lot I'm trying to do with my character and my account in advance for Module 26. But we got these amazing Mastercraft gears, and check some of these out. So there's this new neck and belt item, and right now most neck and belt have a three-piece set. The Mythalar set, you know, you need the neck, belt, and artifact. and or the demo set, which you need the neck, belt, and artifacts. So most stuff is a three-piece. The new ones are two pieces, so you can run any artifacts you want. And what they do is they're like the dragon hunts. They give you 7.5% of a stat every time. Well, each time you use each time you damage an enemy, you gain. Here, let me read it. When you use an encounter pounder, you gain a stack of alacerty, which increases your accuracy by 2.5%. Stacks up to 5 times. Uh, sorry, three. Wait, 2.5. 3 times. I'm sorry. So 3 times. So you use 3 encounters and you get 7.5% accuracy. And unlike the previous set, you got 7.5% movement speed as well. But now you're going to get 15% recharge speed and 7.5% accuracy. That's damn amazing. And what's even better about them is like the demo set, right? This gives me 6 constitution, 6 dexterity, or 6 strength. So 6 strength, 6 constitution. The new set will give me 9 dexterity and 9 strength, which is a multiplicative multiplier of your damage. So that's an extra 0.75% multiplicative damage, as well as 3 dexterity, which will give you 1.5% of crit sev and movement speed to go with it. I don't know exactly what the movement speed is, but it's far superior with its attributes than the Demogorgon set or the Mythalar set. And what's great is you can put any artifacts you want down here, so you're not hampered. If you're running a trial and your group leader says, "Hey, I want you to run whatever," and you got to take off a 1500 item level artifact. You don't have to do that anymore with these sets. And you can only get them from master crafting. And what's great about the master crafting is that anybody can participate. The new dungeon has different drops in the normal and the master version. So people who aren't ready for the master version can still farm the normal dungeon and acquire the reagents and sell them on the auction house. And you can do the hunts, which are soloable. You don't have to team up with people. You can do the hunts and get more reagents to sell. Everything's unbound. So everybody's going to be doing these non-stop and selling them while they can. And chances are, if these are behaving like the past, the stuff that can be acquired easily will be selling high at first and then drop quickly. So you gotta get them while you can. And the same goes with the heroic. If you farm the heroics, you can get new higher item level shirts and pants that have a 3% AP bonus. A lot of people will like those. Those will be dropping unbound from the heroics. At first, they will sell for a lot, and then the prices will drop very fast. So this is going to be a mad dash to be farming for those reagents and these shirts and belts. And then the master version of the dungeon, I don't know anything about it. I haven't watched a single video on it yet. But I've heard from a lot of people who've done it is that it's considerably easier than MTOS was. And MTOS is still a very, very hard dungeon. I call it a 5-man trial because you can have all the gear in the world, but if your team's not doing what you're supposed to be doing in trials, where the healer's being super sweaty healer, the tank's being super sweaty tanking, and the DPS are dodging while attacking, and everybody's doing artifact calls at the same time, you're probably not going to beat that dungeon. And you go to Protector's Enclave, I know at least on PS4, I imagine the other platforms as well, or people are asking for a half hour looking for a DPS for last boss, or looking for a tank for last boss, or a healer. And the thing is, there are people that can help them, but the problem they made with that dungeon is they added no replayability to it. The drops are garbage. Once you have the rings you wanted, that was it. You know, yeah. Those rings have no value after that, except unless you're going to donate them for guild marks, which is very hard to do because most guilds don't have surplus equipment open. So MTOS is very hard. This dungeon could be hard, but everybody who's done it, mind you, it's on preview, so it's subject to change. has said that this dungeon is considerably easier, which means people will be farming it more and more. And you know the Whiskers and Vault of Stars? I believe there's a similar item that requires a large quantity that can only be dropped from the master version. I could be wrong on that, but if so, that master version is going to have a lot of replayability for a long time. Um, I expect, I believe what happens with this dungeon is we can unlock it week 2 by doing the campaign for 2 weeks, and then on the second week, when you do your campaign, you unlock it. But there will probably be a campaign buyout, so you do the campaign currency and then do the Zen buyout, and you'll be able to unlock this dungeon day one. So people will be running it day one. Those people who are running it day one won't probably be farming heroic encounters. I mean, everybody's going to be able to make AD this mod. Tons of it. You just got to be very active, because if you're not a high item level, character that can get into the master version, the normal version, the hunts, and the heroic encounters are all going to drop stuff of value that is unbound that you can sell. And you need AD, because this game is requiring stupid amounts of item level to improve. And if you want AD, there's only two ways to get it: to grind it or to buy it. And if you're just doing your 100,000 rep AD a day, you're going to go nowhere very fast in this game. You need massive amounts of AD, and I believe this new dungeon's going to be able to provide that. And the new master crafting is going to be able to provide that. And the new heroics are going to be able to provide that. I'm not doing anything special for the dungeon. This is what I run for Master Zemnid's Reliquary, because I don't have the abrasion ring and I'm too lazy to put on the dodge ring and the combat advantage or crit sev ring. So this is what I run in Zemnid. It does very good. I will usually run either the Feywood or the Weaver weapons, depending on the hoster. But the default is MC. If the group's really great with not very many trainees, then we'll probably all go the new Weaver weapons. In the new dungeon, I will definitely be running, the group I'm running with will definitely be using Feywood until we become comfortable with it, and then we'll go to Weaver. We're doing that to save resources, because the less you die, the less scrolls you have to do, the less, control breaking you do when you slam your controller in frustration or whatever. But yeah, I'm not doing anything to improve my build for this new mod. I'm gonna go in there, unlock it, the dungeon day one, and go in there with this. There's great new gears. There's upgrades to these boots. So instead of 2.5, 5% crit sev, I'm gonna get 7.5% crit sev. I know people say crit sev, that's the easiest stat in the game. Well, in my build, it's my hardest stat to get, because I don't buy those expensive squash soups. So I don't have extra crit sev. And I'm not, some classes have crit sev as their forte. And so for them, it's easier. And I'm running the accuracy combat advantage chest, so I'm not getting the crit sev from that piece as well. So I'm going in there with this build, and I'm pretty sure it's going to do just fine. It will probably excel in there, no problem. Uh, so going into what's going on in the auction house, if this mod is as popular as I think it's going to be, everything in the auction house will go up. Because if there's an influx of returning and new players, there's there's going to be, everything just goes up. That's what happens in mods usually, especially if they're very popular mods. Some things I think will continue to go up though. Um, I don't get it. Epic, uh, Epic. Oh yeah, Epic enchanting stones. Look at these. These things are almost, they're 25K each. I don't know how they are so damn expensive when anybody can go farm these. On the last two-time event though, I don't think a lot of people are farming it. That's my guess. So these are going up and they're selling. They're selling quite nicely. It's harder to sell when you sell them in stacks of 40 though, but if you sell these singles at 25K, they'll go up. And they'll probably go up the next mod too. Uh, because the artifacts you need the rank 5 enchanting stones to level up your artifacts, because they usually don't come at mythic quality. The new The new Mastercraft gear appears to come in at Legendary though, so you might not even have to upgrade those. Um, this normally goes up every single mod. It normally goes up. I don't know what's going to happen this mod though, and that's the Demogorgon gear. I don't know how accessible the new Mastercraft gear is going to be right away. So I don't think people will be able to just put on the MC neck and belt, which looks very good. I'm 100% going to get those and use those over the Demogorgon set. But I don't think we're going to be able to get those day one. And week two, they still might be prohibitively expensive. So people might still be using the demo set. So I don't know what's going to happen with these. They might go up initially and then they plummet once the Mastercraft neck and belt become more accessible. Uh, I'm selling mine now. I don't want to. I don't even want to hang on to them and hope they go up. Because normally in the past mods they did go up. Because all the people farming these gears, using nobody that's farming demo is probably going to be farming demo. When they have access to the new dungeon with all these new gears and new farming resources. So I just don't know if people are going to be farming this stuff. So these are such a hard call. Consumables like the Scroll of Life should go up. Um, Look at their 3,500 each for the blue ones that we probably won't be using, and then the green ones are 4,000 each. Holy shit, they have gone up. Uh, but that might be short-lived because of the calendar. There is a Astro Lockbox on August 3rd that will probably coincide with an unannounced and will be announced at the very last minute trade bar store sale. But that gives 2 weeks between the new mod and the trade bar store sale. So yeah, scrolls may go up significantly. I know people sitting on tens of stacks, like 10,000 plus scrolls. I have a lot. I've been too lazy to sell them. I gave away a couple of stacks to some guilds in our alliance last week. They did some awesome stuff, and I wanted to reward them. But I just people are sitting on trade bars. A lot of end gamers are because there's really nothing of value, and they're just holding on, hoping they improve the trade bar store. So I don't know what's going to go on with the live scrolls. But until we get really good at that dungeon, people are going to be dying a lot. And just an FYI, it's very unlikely people will be picking you up because you're probably going to die on a boss fight. And when you die on a boss fight, if they come pick you up while they're picking you up, they're going to get hit by something because they can't dodge it because they're trying to pick you up, and they'll die. And then it just starts a whole shit show of snowball effect. You don't want that. With the new higher item level requirement for the new mod, I would not be a bit surprised if enchantments go up, not these weapon ones. Every DPS that I know is using the the lightning one. But the all these enchantments, the ones that boost your stats, these ones, the more expensive ones, people who don't have mythics will probably want mythics. A, to get in the new trial or the new dungeon, and B, because there's that new quest that once you get to 90k you get like this cool unattainable mount. Uh, you can't do that with epics. You're gonna need mythics. So people might be buying these. Also, with all the new gears people will be getting, they'll have to move stats around. So a lot of the enchantments, they'll have to get enchantments they don't currently have. So these could change as well. Um, I've heard this new dungeon is very mob heavy. Very mob heavy. And there are DPS out there who don't give a shit about being the dungeon. They want to be tops of the leaderboard. And they will do anything they can to get the most damage on the mobs, even though that has no effect on completing the dungeon or not. And they will spend big money for AoE comps. And currently, the best AoE comps we have are, pretty much Zuna, kind of succubus if we don't kill him immediately. The Minotaur companion if we don't kill him immediately. Regis, of course. Those companions could go up if this dungeon is indeed mob heavy, as I've been hearing it is. Uh, these are already going up. These mount callers for legendary, are right around. There's a couple for under 4 million, but they're already at 4 million, which is crazy because you can get these with less than 2 months of Reapers, because you can get 50 Reaper marks to get 50 shards to get one of these. So, because epics, they're basically free. You can find them for like 3,000 in the auction house all the time. Shit, I got a couple for 100 AD each. People were just trying to get rid of them out of their inventory. So these are going up. And I wouldn't be surprised if they keep going up. Because the people who don't have legendary callers will get them. And the people who do have legendary callers will probably want to upgrade them to mythic. So the the demand for these may go up in this mod with this new increase to item level. Same could be said for these mythics. The lowest one is 12 million daily power. I don't know anybody who uses that one. Daily power. Crit severity. I'm surprised it's that low. But crit severity is very good. But there are classes I heard not using the crit sev anymore. They've gone to recharge. I use the crit sev. Uh, and then recharge, and counters already at 15 mil. These, I think I've seen them for around 11 mil for the last couple months. So don't be surprised if those change. And if those go up in value, you know that these will definitely go up in value. These greater, oh God. So I've been buying them at 50K. I've been buying I actually see for less than 60K. And look at somebody jumped the gun. And remember, these prices of greater shards are deceiving because players don't buy one or two of these. They buy like 50 of them, 100 of them at a time. So once you start getting into a couple pages, the prices start going up to 80K, you know, 100K. And 100K is still relatively cheap compared to what they were for many mods, where they were normally around 150K. So we could see these going right back up. Because before Reapers, these were a lot more expensive. Wow, shit. Yeah, somebody bid 70K. Goodness. Good job, whoever got those. I don't know what to do about Mastercraft materials because I don't know how pain in the ass the new weapons are going to be to craft. I do know the new weapons are far superior than the current ones with the higher item level and the base damage increase to them. Uh, I just don't know what the demand's going to be because this new dungeon is not as hard as, you know, not Master. If it's not as hard as Master Temple the Spider, people may not be needing or using or requiring Mastercraft weapons. Uh, so I don't know. If that's the case, MC3 weapons or Fey weapons are still a pain in the ass to make with those whiskers. And I don't know how many people are going to be farming whiskers if they can farm the new reagents in the new zone. So I don't know what's going on with Feywood weapons. My prediction is they will go down. The demand for them will go down. If the demand goes down, then the materials will go down. Me personally, I'm going to try to sell all the materials I can before that if they go down. I just don't want to risk. I would try to lock in any gains that I can get now or reduce any losses I could get. MC3 though, the ones from Cholt, those could go up in value because there are groups that are still going to require Mastercraft. Especially if the group is learning, especially if they're not, overpowered players have been farming Master Zemnid, right? They're still fairly cheap, and there's only a couple roadblocks to the MC3 weapons, and that's Obsidian, which you get from the Omu Explorer charts, and those are 3K each, and then they go right up to 4K each. And then there's lock resin, which is you get from Soshin Star um, Explorer charts. And then there's the Moat of Soulfire. Moat of Soulfire. And these have always been around 100k or more. I think these might go up a little bit if the demand for MC weapons go up. 100k, 100k. And you get these from T9. The problem is they have a very low drop rate. And I was going to farm a whole bunch of these and do a mass opening. And I'm just going to show you now. So I got 8, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I got 20 of them right here. So let's open up 20 and see how many motive Soulfires we get. Oh, first one. Oh my God. Two, 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 three, three. Almost done, buddy. So we got 3 out of 20, 4 out of 20. If that was a true estimate, that means you need to run 4 Temple of the Nine gods to get one Motive Soulfire, which sells for about 100k. I don't know if that drop rate was accurate because I have opened them in the past and not seen them. So, but you saw that's how you get the Motive Soulfires. Temple of the Nine God is actually it's a decent farm. If you can do 4 an hour, you could potentially get 100k an hour from one Motive Soulfire, not including all the other stuff you get from the chest as well as the refined AD. That's what I'm saying is that's why I'm not a big fan of random trial queues on random daily queues for the 100k AD because there's other ways to get more AD in that hour so people spend doing it. Assuming you get into a queue group and assuming you guys complete. What's nice about Temple of Nine God is you can go there with 5 DPS and just steamroll it in like 10 minutes. It's a very fast dungeon. I mean, just going 5 DPS, everybody popping artifact. The first boss is dead. Same with the second boss, and basically the same with the third boss. You won't even see on the third boss, you won't even see any mechanics. I do prefer having a tank in there, and I don't mind having a healer as well. But if I can't find a healer or tank, and because I play at a very late time compared to most players, I just go in there with 5 DPS. I don't give a shit. That's how easy that dungeon is. But I got off on a big tangent. I don't know what to say about MC. I think the new Mastercraft are far superior than the Fae, so I don't see anybody using Fae unless they go way, way down in prices. If you're gonna if you need Mastercraft, the ones from Cholt are just fine. Usually you can get a set of them for around $1 million or so. 1,500 item level artifacts should go up. I think the new mod has a couple new 1,500 item level artifacts, but only one of them have 3 offensive stats. So that means we'll have the Rod of Pain, the Wand of Domination, and then we'll have the third one that we're getting. I think the other ones have more, other stats like defensive stats or whatever. What we're going to see with this new mod, and I'm trying to get people to take bets with me on this. The Zax has been going up on PS4. I don't know about the other platforms. But we were down to 24 million. Now the backlog is 27 million. I think with this new mod, this backlog is going to get a significant decrease, which is great. It's great for the free-to-play players. Why do I think that? Well, for one, this Master Craft, you cannot buy this with Zen. You need AD. And this new set, neck and belt, are amazing. The rings are really good, too. I mean, the rings are really good. I had it on that page, like, this one, when you've been running for 1 second, you gain threat around you. That's what tanks use, but this one's a higher item level. When your hit points are max, your outgoing healing goes up by 6%. These are unbound that you buy. They're better than the Dragon Hunt rings. You don't have to do Dragon Hunts to get these. These new rings are really good. These new weapons are really good. These new neck and belt are really good. And the only way to get them is through AD. So people who want them that don't have AD will buy Zen, and they'll bring the backlog down. But there's two other big, huge AD things coming as well. The problem with master crafting, there's two problems. If you want to farm the new explore charts, if what I've been told is correct, if you want to buy the new explore charts, you have to have the new master crafting unlocked. For example, if I want to buy the explore charts for Sharandar, I just go to my guild hall and buy them. But you can't buy the new ones unless you have the new zone crafting unlocked. And the only way to do that is you have to buy all the MC recipes for Cholt, which is 1.5, or I'm sorry, 500k each times 7, so it's like 3.5 million. Then you got to buy all these faiths. Uh, is it this one? Yeah, you got to buy all 7 of these. So there's another 10 mil plus 10.5 mil. And then you got to buy at least one of the new ones, which is another mil. And a lot of players are going to want to farm those because those are going to be the big ones that are gated behind a wall. So I think players who aren't even master crafters may buy these recipes just so they can start getting those explorer charts. Uh, or they just want to get into master crafting. And then, of course, all the current master crafters will be paying the 10.5 million AD to unlock all the known new zones recipes as well. So the new master crafting, uh, uh, upgrading your master crafting is going to be a big AD sync. Buying all the new mastercraft items is going to be a big AD sync. And then another big AD sync we have coming is on the calendar in 2 weeks. We have the Astro Lockbox again. And there's something unique about this Astro Lockbox. First of all, when the Astro Lock boxes have been introduced, every single time it had new items in them. It made people want the new version of the new Astro Lock boxes, and then they stopped. We haven't had a new one for the last previous three iterations, so the demand has not been very high for them. But with this new mod, the demand is going to be very high for them. It's coming out with a new mod, so people are going to need to upgrade their mounts and companions, and they need comp tokens and mount tokens to do it. So they're going to get them from these Astro Lock boxes, because I still think this is the best way in the game to get them quickly. The best way is probably VIP, but you're limited to 1 key's worth a day of trade bars. Uh, so this new Astro Lockbox is coming out, and it's gonna have new content or new items in them. One of which is a 4-slot mount, only available in here, as well as a companion that's I've never seen in the game. So I don't know if it's any good or not, but I want it because I don't have it. So there's two unique things in this lockbox. Plus, it's coming out with a new mod that's going to be very popular, I believe. I think we have the perfect recipe to bring the demand for diamonds will go up. Because the problem is people are like buy cold words and sell them, and you'll get more AD than you would just exchanging them. Well, there's a huge problem to that. The cold words, these have not budged in 6 months now, a year. Look at 50. Oh shit. 53. They're actually going down. So if you buy these and then sell them with the 10% hit, you're going to probably make a little bit more AD than you would with the exchange. But the problem is not everybody's VIP, so they have to pay the listing fee. And then they also have to wait for it to sell, if it sells, because it might not. They might get undercut until it delists. So they're not getting AD. And so they might make more doing cohorts, you know, buying Zen with cash, using that, selling the Zen on the Zen exchange to get AD, or getting coal motes and then selling the coal motes for AD. But a lot of people, I think, will just bypass it and just buy Zen. You know, probably not on PC. but because Cold Wars are still selling for a tremendous profit. But I believe PlayStation players will, and I think on Xbox people aren't even doing this anymore because their backlog is almost non-existent. So it's hard to flip coals. Of course, there's always Prez Wars or whatever, but I would not be a bit surprised. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if the calendar Astrolock boxes are coming August 3rd. I wouldn't be a bit surprised by August 10th if our backlog, I know people are going to joke on me, but I wouldn't be a bit surprised if our backlog goes from 27 million down to the low 20s or even slightly below 20 million. That's a significant chunk of the backlog that'd be gone. It would reduce the wait time significantly as well. But we'll see. We don't know. This mod is, we haven't experienced this in a long time because this current mod is a complete flop. The vast majority of players have nothing to do in this mod. You can only kill so many Driders to get uh, this artifact that increases your item level by 300, right? This mod is completely useless for most players unless you're doing Master Zemnid, which I believe is a very, very, very small percentage of the game, or else the artifact wouldn't be selling for more than 4 million. The mod MTOS. The problem with MTOS is, I think, I could be wrong, the majority of players still have not gotten MTOS yet. It was a very hard dungeon. And even if they get their one or two completes, if you're anything like me, you didn't need, 10 completes to get those two rings. You needed hundreds of completes to get those rings. The drop rates were pure dookie. And then we had the Dragon Hunt mod, which wasn't a mod. All they did was add dragon hunts. And then before that, they had, Crown, useless trial. And then they had the Bard mod, which wasn't a mod. They actually didn't introduce a single piece of new content. They took content away from the game. So this is our first, like, this is a big mod where everybody gets to participate. Everybody gets to make AD. Everybody gets to run new dungeons. I'm looking forward to it. The and just to top it off with the cherry, look at this. Let's go to look what comes the following uh, week after the new mod, the summer festival, and everybody's gonna be making a shitload of AD off this festival, even though it's been nerfed and turned into a complete shit show. That's 6 events in a row. Thanks, devs. If they don't change anything, this event has been completely nerfed, but it's still going to be a big AD making opportunity, just not as big as an AD opportunity as it was in the past. I can't wait. I'm so excited. If you got any comments about the auction house or the economy, please comment below. Stay classy, Neverwinter. See you soon.